very pleased to present today the amazing Sue-Ann Staff, a multi-award winning winemaker from right here in Ontario, a winemaker of the year more than once, world-renowned winemaker, highly recognized. And we are going to talk about an award-winning wine. What are we here to talk about, Sue-Ann?
We are here to talk about the Fancy Farm Girl Foxy Pink. And if you don't put the Foxy in Foxy with your voice or attitude or whatever, there's a $5 fine. So just be warned as we carry on to the interview.
All right.
I'll keep a little ticker tape going how much you owe at the end. So.
I'll make sure to include that Foxy. That's a lot of F words if you ask me, but yes, okay.
Well, that's by design. Right?
Yeah.
As a fancy farm girl, clearly I use the F word, but I try to use it only in the vineyard where no one's around, and only when like a tractor breaks down or someone prunes a grapevine wrong. That's what is clearly acceptable.
Yeah. Well, you only use it out in the vineyard because you're fancy.
That's right. I have to keep the image up.
Yeah. This is a 2020 vintage, I think.
It is a 2020 vintage. It was a warm year, and so being a warmer year, we want to be sure to pick the harvest date perfect. That way we can retain the acidity. In warmer years, there's a tendency for the sugar to go quite high and the acidity to plummet at the same time. So you really want to nail that harvest date for wines like this to maintain the acidity. Big opulent reds is a different story where you want to get the color, the flavor, the tannins, and let that acidity fall a little bit more.
Sure. And in this case, I mean, it's mostly Riesling, about 95% Riesling, I think. So that acidity and the sugar both are definitely going to be there, I think.
Right. So 95% Riesling, so that gives it the acidic backbone, the structure, and then 5% Cabernet Franc added to it just before bottling, and that gives a bit more body and texture and a little bit of mouthfeel with the tannins, and obviously a little bit of color too, of course, since Riesling is white, Cabernet Franc is red. You put a little bit of the red and the white.
For sure. I have not yet had the opportunity to taste this. I think I'm going to be tasting it at the Savvy show that's coming up in a couple of weeks. And I'm really looking forward to trying it because I love your wine. So I don't know if you remember me from your tasting table over the years, but I've spent a lot of time there. So
that's okay. Let's spend some more time together and drink some more wine. That's what makes it fun, right?
Absolutely. What would you pair this with?
What I love about this wine is because it's on the drier side, which is kind of the new world of rosé. It's going to a drier and drier style. Hence, it makes it very food friendly. I would do things like tuna steaks. Oh, some salmon steaks would be fantastic. A turkey breast done on the barbecue would be fabulous. Maybe some pizza, but a simple pizza, like a margarita pizza type thing would be fabulous. Where you have that simple cheese type thing to go with the freshness and the vibrancy of the wine. I'd also take this into Christmas and New Year's and have a Christmas dinner that it goes so great with sweet potatoes and some of those elements on the plate for your festive dinners.
Well, I mean, Christmas aside, it does sound like a perfect patio or backyard wine, something for those long summer nights that you're just looking to relax.
I have to admit that I drink an alarming amount of this wine in the summertime. So that's what's neat is it's so quaffable on its own that it doesn't really need food, but then, putting some of those pairings with it is just fantastic. So I'd even go to like some, getting some curry flavor things. And when you're putting some things on the barbecue, like some fresh fish and stuff like that, put a little sprinkle of lemon pepper or something like that on it. That'd be fantastic with this wine as well.
That sounds wonderful. Absolutely. What else do you have coming up on the horizon? How is we have an early growing season, lots of heat so far. Is it too soon?
This week has been beautiful and warm, but really it has been a bit of a cooler spring. Spring is so weird lately, right? Like it either bounced right into summer or is long and cool. This one is a little bit cooler actually because the ground temperature is still quite cool. So we're just seeing that warm up and the buds are just starting to break right now. So I'd say we're probably on schedule for a typical year, let's say, or maybe just a little bit behind. But this heat this past week has helped out substantially. So, but it's always a great year. So it doesn't really matter what happens, whether it's great Riesling years or great Cabernet Franc years, it always works out perfect.
For sure. Well, I will let you go. I understand you have some work to do this afternoon.
As a fancy farm girl, you'd think I'd be out on the tractor this afternoon, and I should be, but instead I'll be putting the crystals on chandeliers up at the top of the tent. and building an outdoor kitchen. So yeah, if you're free, pop on by. I could use the help.
That I wish I could. That sounds like a lot more fun than what I'm going to have to do this afternoon. But there you go. Well,
Awesome.
cheers to you, Sue-Ann, and cheers to our Savvy subscribers. I really look forward to tasting this, and I hope I get to see you again soon.
Awesome. Great. Thanks
All
so
right,
much for having
bye.
me.
You
Cheers.
bet.